Good afternoon, everyone. Today's Academy is on NeosAI. Looks like we still have a few people logging in. So while we're waiting for everybody to log in, we're going to go over the introductions. So today's Academy is being hosted by myself. I'm Pam Hodge. I'm the business consultant in our professional services department. We have Lauren, who is our knowledge base administrator, I guess. I always call her our knowledge base guru. She writes all of our
That
knowledge
works
base
too.
articles. Yeah, she writes all of our knowledge base articles. And then we have Ms. Raina, who is one of our customer support engineers. I'm sure if you guys have contacted support, everybody has spoken to Ms. Raina. All right. So it looks like we still have a few more people logging in. We'll just give it another minute or two. So we are going to talk about the NeosAI chat, AI tags and prompts, how to summarize documents, how to extract. We're going to give us some information about the new dynamic layouts, and then we'll round out with Ms. Lauren going over our knowledge base articles and our support portal. All right. So we're going to dive right in. So we're going to get right into the Academy. So as always, the very first thing that you guys always want to do is check permissions. So anyone who is on the platinum tier that has AI launched, you're going to go to your settings. And we always recommend everybody do permission groups, but I'm going to go to my staff profile. I am going to find my name, if I can spell it right. Once you go to your staff profile, you're going to go to permissions and special permissions. When you go to special permissions, there's several AI prompts and stuff like that. So I'm going to go over here and I am going to search AI, and then it's going to give me a list of all the AI capabilities. If you are an admin and you want your staff to be able to manage AI prompts, you want to enable that. If everybody will need access to type in the chat, so the AI chat free text needs to be enabled. If you want your staff to be able to see the case summary on the case tab, and then you have the ability to give each user access to the AI features and or the AI chats. So it's either they have rights to it or they don't. If you want to take somebody's rights away, you just change this to a red circle. That way it gets rid of their ability. And then for them to have access to it, you just make sure that it's that teal circle with the check mark. All right. Once you go into Neos, when you're on a case, you're going to see the NeosAI chat tools here, and then you're going to see the little chat bot up here. However, if you notice, if I'm in browse cases, the chat guy is disabled because everything related to the AI is case specific. So if you're trying to use any of the AI features and you're not in a case, you don't have those options. Now, once we go back to our case here, we have our chat bot up here, and we have our NeosAI tools. If I select on the NeosAI tools, this is where I can chat with AI. I can go over my executive summary. I can generate documents. I can analyze documents, extract value entries from an invoice or receipt, and then I can upload a photo ID or a business card and create parties. So I always like to start at the bottom and move my way up. So here I'm going to create a party from a photo ID. So if I select create from a photo ID, notice that I get my upload, but also Neos is taking me to the party tab. So I can drag and drop my document from my desktop. I'm going to go here and get some of my examples. So if I have a driver's license, I can drag and drop. When you're dragging and dropping, you want to make sure that the little box turns blue, because if you don't, it's just going to launch the document. So once it turns blue, that means the document is ready to be uploaded. Once you select upload, it is going to take that driver's license. It is going to upload the document to the case docs tab. It's going to identify it as a photo, and then it's going to analyze and extract information to create a party on your case. So down here, it says processing. Once the processing finishes, it'll say completed, and then you're going to have a new contact record on your party tab. So if I hit this X key here, you're going to see that your party is uploaded here, and it's going to pull in their information, their gender, date of birth, their address, any information that is related to the photo ID that you just uploaded. It's going to extract the information here for you. If I go over to the case docs tab, you will see that document has been uploaded, and it's given a document type of photo ID. And then it's going to tell you that AI extracted information from that document. If I go back to the tools, I can do the same thing with the business card. So anytime you upload anything using the contacts options, it will extract the information, upload the document to your case. Now, if we go to invoices and receipts, it's going to be that same process. So if I say extract values from an invoice and I select this, notice that it's taking me to the value tab. I get the same upload invoices here. So I'm going to go and I'm going to drag and drop an invoice from my desktop, and I am going to drag it over. Again, make sure the box turns blue. Once that does, you're going to hit upload, and it is going to pull in my invoice for me. Again, once it gets finished processing, it's going to give me options to create value entries based off of the information that was on my invoice. And now that I'm looking at my invoice, AI is saying, hey, there's nothing here. So here I have one line entry for $100. So it pulled the information out from my invoice. If I had multiple entries, I could go here and change this and say create one value entry. Once I choose my value type, it's going to give me my amount. It's going to give me my party, my provider. So I still need to go in here and decide who my provider is. So if it's a hospital, I can say the new hospital, and then it's going to add that, and then I hit save. Once I hit save, it is going to create my new entry here showing the information based off of what was the invoice. Okay, if I go to my case docs tab, once I go to my case docs tab, it's going to show you that it uploaded the document and it identified it as an invoice. All right, so now let's talk about analyzing documents with AI and generating documents with AI. But before we get here, we're going to talk about some settings that we have where you're able to optimize everything when it comes to the AI. So with the last release, information was updated for our system, wherein we are backed by the Azure 4.1 AI model. What does that mean? That means it's going to be faster. You have the ability to analyze, upload, and summarize documents that have up to 4 million characters, which can be between 15 and 2,000 pages, depending on the text on each of the pages. Okay. Now, we have AI tags and AI prompts. What's the difference between AI tags and AI prompts? AI tags are going to allow you to create tags that you can use in your document. So in order to quote unquote train your AI, this is how you're going to train your AI to give you the information that you want. When you're looking at the screen here, any of these AI tags that have the little pencil next to it, you have the option to change the data sources. So your data sources are the different tabs and fields that you have within your case and case types. Okay. If you want by default to add additional information to your data sources, you can select this here and then hit save, and it's going to update that. Any of these tags that do not have a trash can next to it means that you cannot delete that AI tag, because those were generated and created by our development team. Any that does have a trash can next to it means that somebody created that. So once I hit the edit button, I can delete this. I can still make the same modifications. Now, if I want to create a new AI tag, all I have to do is go to the new AI tag button, and then I'm going to name it. So when I name it, so I'm going to say, name it Neos Academy 2027-29. Here with the AI prompt, this is where you get to give your AI instructions. So notice that right here, AI tags may not contain spaces or special characters. So that decimal is considered a special character, so we have to get rid of that. Now, when I go to the AI prompts, this is where I get to tell AI to do something. So I can say, create a medical chronology from the records and provide the medical provider name, date of treatment, summary of treatments, and put it in a table format. So I tell AI, this is what I want you to do. I want you to create a medical chronology that gives the provider's name, it gives the dates of treatment, the summary of treatment, and put it in a table format. Now, when I'm here, I go here to my data sources. Where is this information going to be housed? I know for me, all of my information related to my medicals are on my records request tab. So by default, I can scroll down and say, hey, pull all this information from my records request tab. Well, if you're looking, you're like, well, I don't have a records request tab. However, as a admin function in my system, it is user tab 2. So I'm going to select user tab 2, and I'm going to make this active. Once I make it active and I hit save, I now can use that tag in any of my documents to pull that information in. So if you're doing a demand letter, or if you just want to do a full chronology, you're able to do that. Now, if I go back to AI tags and I go to AI prompts, AI prompts are going to allow you to ask AI questions when you're using our chat feature. It's the same option here. If you have the edit button, you can go in here and you can edit your document types. You can choose a case type and you can make it active or not active. If you do not have that trash can next to it, it means you cannot delete any of these preset ones. But if there are ones that you do not want your staff to use, you can just hit the edit button and make it inactive. Okay. You're going to create this the same way. So if you say new AI prompt, you can hit the plus key and you can say medical chronology. Ooh. Oh my goodness. And then I could say medical chronology. And then I would give it the instructions again. Create medical chronology. I can choose a document type. I can choose a case type, and then I can hit save. So when you're doing these, you want to make sure that you are choosing your document type and you're choosing what type of case that you want it to be associated with and hit save. Once you hit save, somebody already has that. So I'm just giving this another name and then hit save. All right. Now that we have went over our AI tags and prompts, let's go back to our case. Again, remember, you don't have any AI functionality when you're not at the case level. Once I go back to the case, I have my functionalities and everything here. So we're going to talk about the AI chat itself in conjunction with talking about analyzing our documents. So if you hit your chat bota, I call him chat bota, here it's going to give you a prompt that says, hey, I'm NeosAI Assistant. I will answer questions related to your cases and documents. To get started, give me instructions. Now, with this, when I say show suggested prompts, so that AI prompt that we just did, you're going to see that here where it says create a medical chronology. Okay. So if I go here and I hit my plus key and I say add documents, I can hit add documents. When I hit that, I get to choose documents from my case. I can upload up to 5 at a time. So if I have different medical records, so I can just choose these medical records. Let's see. So I can go here and choose any records and I can choose up to 5. So once I hit attach, it is going to attach those documents to this chat. And now I'm going to say show suggested prompts because I know I want it to create a medical chronology. I can scroll down and I can say, hey, create a medical chronology. Once I select that, it's going to say write a medical chronology as an attorney in a list format. The one that was pre-made in Neos is a lot better than what I wrote out. So what's going to happen is AI is going to look at the documents that I have uploaded, and then it's going to give me a chronology of everything that were in those records. So now that I have this, what do I want to do with it? Well, because this is my medical chronology, I want to be able to use it in demands and other places. So here I can hit the 3 dots and I can say copy chat to notes. When I hit copy chat to notes, you'll notice that in the last release, you have the option to create a subject with your AI chats. So here I can say medical chronology. So that way, when I am creating documents and I want to pull this information in, it's going to pull that here. So I can say save and start new. Now that this is here, I can close out of my chat. I can go to my notes tab. When I go to my notes tab and I'm looking here, it is going to show me my AI conversations here. If I hit the drop down, it's going to show that information for me. Now, if I had additional records that I wanted to add to this, I could double click and go into this chat. Into this note. Once I go into that note up here, it's going to ask me to continue my conversation. If I hit continue conversation, I get to choose my subject again, and I can erase and continue or save and continue. If I hit save and continue, I can add additional documents to this, and then I can tell it to, update my chronology. Now that this information is here, let's talk about taking documents and generating them. So I'm going to go to the case docs tab. When I go to the case docs tab, I have generate with NeosAI. When I hit the plus key, generate AI, I have my AI templates, anything that is AI template based. We name it AI demand template. Once I select that, it's going to give me my preview, and then I can hit next. When I hit next, I'm going to get my prompts. I need to know what the insurance is. My document type is already demand, and I can hit next. When I hit next, this is where I pull in my data sources. Within the data sources, you are able to choose the information that you want AI to use to create your demand. So here, my tone, do I want it to be standard, formal, casual, demanding, or less demanding? Because I'm doing a demand letter, I'm going to choose demanding. When it comes to the length, do I want short, medium, or long? Each of the paragraphs would be 5 for short, 10 for medium, 15 for long. So each of the paragraphs could have up to those many sentences. Once I make those determinations, I come down here and I look each one of my sections. I have a demand introduction. I have my facts and liabilities, my injuries and treatment, my demand damages, and then my settlement. As I'm looking at this, I get to choose my data sources. So by default, because I have these set up already within my AI tag, it's going to choose these. Now, if I have additional information that I want to bring into my demand introduction, I get to choose that. So I can add the case summary data. I know that I have added medical condition data, medication. I can add any of the data points. Once I choose that, I choose my insurance and then my parties. And you have your parent types. Do you want it to pull more information from the case, dynamic layouts, party? I get to choose all this information or multiple of those. If I have additional instructions, if I know that I want AI to add additional information because I know something specific about my case, I can put it in here, or I can let AI generate the section. And then once AI gets finished generating the section, then I can say, hey, AI, I want to make some modifications. I want you to remove some things. So once the section generates, I can make those changes. Same things with facts and liabilities. I would go here and I would go and create information from each one of these sections. So if I go back up here, now I get to read what was going on in the accident. So if I'm going through here and I see that there's any information that I don't want added or in here, let's see, was turning on a green light, any information here. And if I want to change, I would go here and I would say, remove any information regarding the owner of the. Oh, I can spell right. All right, once I make this change, notice that changes have been made and I can generate that again. So if I hit generate, it is going to regenerate that section and it's going to remove any of that information. When I come to facts and liability, same thing, I get to choose. Now, when I hit this drop down, I know that I might have uploaded an accident report or there might have been another investigation, and I know there's documents within my case that had more information. So if I scroll down here, I can say, hey, pull in documents, any of that information, anything that's here, I can add that additional information. So once I choose that, I can choose what entry I want added. And then if I have specific topics where, let's say, that medical chronology, oh, I don't see that. So you have the ability to pull in all those AI conversations related to that information. Again, I would go and fill that in each one. I can hit generate. It's going to generate all 4 sections. Once all the sections are finished, it is going to create my document for me. And then once I create my document, I can make any modifications to it once it becomes a Word document. All right. So it's going to take a minute for this to generate. How do you know how long it's going to take? Depending on how much information that AI has to go look at will depend. It could take up anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes for this to generate, depending on the size of your documents and the information housed in your case. Now, once each section is going in here, I can go and make any modifications. It's pulling all the information for me, and I hit generate document. You will always get this prompt that says this document is being generated by AI. It is your responsibility to confirm that the information is true and correct. You're going to hit accept and continue. Once you hit accept and continue, it's going to create that Word document. Once it's completed, you'll get the completed button, and then you just open your document. Once the document opens, again, like I said, this is just a plain Word document. And you can go in here and make any modifications that you want. All right. A couple of additional items that have been added to the AI is where we have the executive case summary. So by default, AI is going to generate a summary for you. Well, I shouldn't say by default. You can create a AI based off the information that's in this case. So if I go back over here to settings and I go over here to the AI prompts, no, I'm sorry, not AI prompts, AI tags. We have the AI executive summary. Notice that it has that blue icon. Once I select here and I hit edit, it will allow you to change the data sources, but it's not going to allow you to change the prompt because this has been built by our company and we don't want anybody to make those modifications. But if I hit this drop down, I can go here and choose what information is being pulled in. If I wanted to choose everything, I could choose everything. But depending on what we're doing, would depend what information that I have. I can select any of my dynamic layouts. I can select staff. I can any of this. Once I make these changes here and I hit save, it is going to update the information that AI is going to use to generate that summary. So when I go back to my case, notice that changes have been detected in the case. Why does this not automatically update? Because you want to be able to see what has changed in your case from the last time you reviewed it. So here it's going to give you your basic information. Once I hit refresh, depending on how much information has been updated in the case, you'll be able to see that real-time changes. So as your staff or as the staff is working on the files and stuff like that, you're like, hey, what have they done in my case? Well, when you come here and you have the AI executive summary, it's going to automatically tell you that things have been done in the case. So here you'll see the changes. But if you, while you're waiting for it to generate, you can always go to your activity feed and actually see what has changed since the last time that you've touched the case. So when I go back here to the case tab, it's still generating my summary. Like I said, depending on how much information has changed in this case will depend on how long it's going to take for the summary to generate. It take a minute or two because you want to get the most accurate information available in Neos. All right. While we're waiting for that to generate, let's go over here and let's talk about case docs. Now, when we come back here to case docs, you do have, oh, now it's completed now that I moved away. We'll go back quick. When I go here, it's going to give you that updated summary of everything that AI has seen in the case. I can scroll and go up and down. If I don't want this to take up this much of my screen, I can hit the little caret and it's going to give me the shorter version. And as I'm wanting to see it, I can hit the caret again. Notice once the summary is up to date, you'll have a green checkbox saying it is up to date. Once any changes have been made, it will tell you that. And if you notice, as I'm hovering, it says last generated on this date and time. All right. We're going to go back here to case docs. So when it comes to case docs, if you already have documents that are uploaded into your system and you want AI to summarize, do something with it, you can hit the down arrow and say analyze with AI. When you hit analyze with AI, it's going to ask you what your document type is. It will extract your contacts. So once you hit extract, it is going to look at the document. It is going to create the summary for you. Once AI goes in there and looks at the information, it's complete, it's going to give you that. I'm going to hit details. When I hit details, it's going to give me my little flyout panel here. You get to see the information in this section, but if I want to see the whole view, I just hit the view. And once I hit the view, you're going to see your summary here. It will give you all your document details, any information regarding the document that you asked AI to analyze. If I scroll back up here, I have related items right here because I had chosen that it's a contact is going to pull line items out for me, and it's going to tell me when it was created, who it was created by, and then if it had any contact information that was in the document, it's going to populate that contact information. Now, as you're creating and analyzing documents within Neos, everybody has access to those dynamic layouts. So when I select dynamic layouts, it's going to show me any dynamic layout that has been uploaded to my case. So here, this is where we have that contact. If I double click here, it is going to take me to this record, and it's going to show me the information that AI extracted based off of my request. If I go back and I go back to my dynamic layout, if I have any line items, so the line item will show information that was for a case expense when it comes to the value tabs. Now, any firm who has dynamic layouts has the ability to create dynamic layouts specific for that firm. So if we go back here to settings, sorry, you have your dynamic layout editor. Once I select here, I get to go up here and I get to choose. If I have an existing, once I select it, this is going to be my layout. These layout changes and modifications are just like you're making changes and modifications to your case tab layouts. If I want to create a new layout, I'm going to hit the plus key. I will name it and then hit create. Once I hit create, I have my same options, my headers, my paragraphs, my sections, and then I can search for anything that I want. Remember, these are fields. If you needed to add a new field to this layout, you would go to your case fields, add the case field, and then come back here and add it to your section. Once you select it, it will add the can here. If I want to see all the dynamic layouts in my system, I can hit the little waffle. Once I hit the waffle, it's going to give me a list of all my dynamic layouts. If I go over here, any that have a red trash can, that means that you created those and you can delete those. Any that does not have the red trash can, you can go in here and you can change what fields are seen. You can make it active, inactive, but you cannot delete it because it was something that was created by the platform. All right. Go back over. Again, here, when I'm creating documents, I can, or not creating documents, when I'm uploading documents, if I have a document that I'm uploading to my system and I drag and drop, I get to choose my document type, my date category tag. And if I want AI to analyze it as I'm opening it, I hit the toggle, I hit save. It is going to take that document, upload it to my case, and then it's going to analyze the document based off of the document type that I've chosen. Now, if you are uploading medical records, you do have some additional functionality and features. So once I get this completed, I hit my details. It's going to give me my side panel view here, but I'm going to go to view because I want to see the bigger summary. Again, this is an abstract summary of the document itself. But if I go to my related items, this is where it's going to give me my line entries. It's going to give me my contact information, any examinations, medications. It's going to give me all that information here as AI is analyzing the information. Once AI finishes analyzing the information, I can see a couple of other things. I go here. All right. As we're waiting for this to do, if you have medical conditions and you have CPT 910 or 11 code, you will be able to hover over it and actually see that code and where that information is in your system. All right. We'll come back to that in just a minute. Again, you can use your AI tools here to upload, generate documents. You can view your executive case summary, or you can chat with NeosAI. Now, I'm going to go back to chat NeosAI. Again, if you notice that it's going to tell me, hey, you're viewing a medical document. Do you want to include this in the chat checks? If that's a true statement, I can say, yes, include in the chat. And then I can say, summarize. Oops. Summarize the medical documents, and then it is going to go and view that information. So as I was waiting over here, you see that it gives me all my information and it summarizes that document. Now, I can take this again and I can copy it to a notes. I can copy it to a clipboard. So I'm going to come back over here now that all my examinations have uploaded, all my medication, all that information is here now. If I double click on this entry and it gives me my diagnosis, I can go over here and I can hit the little icon here. It's going to tell me what my CPT codes and all that information, and I can copy and paste these into documents, but it's also going to tell me where in the record this information was. As we do releases, month after month, AI is improving. So, watch out for, new things coming, new functionalities. So every time we do a release, our AI is getting better and better. All right, Lauren, Ryan, Raina, is there any questions before I pass it over to Miss Lauren?
Nope, there are no questions.
No questions. Okay, well, I am going to stop sharing. I'm going to give Miss Lauren some time to go over our knowledge base articles and our support portal.
Thank you so much. All right, let me give that a share. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay, so as Pam mentioned, we covered AI today. And the great thing about AI is that when you're anywhere in a case, you can have access to those tools. So you can be like, case docs, counsel, negotiation. So you always have access to those AI tools. And of course, AI chat. But let's say, for example, that you happen to be starting the document generation for AI and you're configuring your data sources and you're not really exactly sure what are the available options. You want to kind of like a little bit more information on them. You can just come over to the question mark in the upper right corner and you have access to the knowledge base article for generating documents with NeosAI. We also have a short video tutorial about this process. So if you prefer to read versus watch, you have those options. And the great thing about this is once you click into one of these, and if this is not the right one, just click into the next and it won't clutter up your view with all those tabs open. So it'll just replace whatever tab you just have open. So you can click over to here to access the support portal, and I already have it open. So when you come into the support portal, this What's New pane will fly out with information if it has been recently updated. I purposely flew this out so you can see the types of things that we put in here. So we are always promoting our Neos Academy. We also have, as Pam mentioned, we just had a release. And so if you weren't able to catch the new in Neos when it was live, we have the recorded webinar here that you can click and access with that one link. And then, of course, any information about our releases as well. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit before we jump into the knowledge base and just the ease of being able to find the articles that you're looking for. Um, if you have not heard of Neos University, is a really great resource. It covers all areas of Neos. There are free courses where you can just become a pro of Neos, and it saves your progress, and you can take them at any time. So definitely take a look there if you have not. Also, our Learning Hub is where we house all of our videos. So I'm going to point us to the Learning Hub here. We have all of our Neos Academies. So if you didn't get a chance to watch one live, like you're on right now, you can just come here at a later date and catch all of the previous ones here. And I do want to point your attention to this video here. This is specific enhancements for NeosAI. So it's about a 5.5 minute video, and it will cover all of the new enhancements that we just had in our July release, particularly around NeosAI. So take a look there if you haven't had a chance. But yeah, this is chock full of all videos, and they're relatively short, so you could just watch a couple at a time. Okay, let's go back over to here. If your firm is looking for some personalized training on Neos AI or any other area of Neos, you can click here to schedule a private training with your firm. And then, of course, we have our release notes and our change log, which is a running list of our changes that we've made to Neos, and then the full, like, in-depth details about the release. And then going kind of hand in hand with our what's new, we have our what's new regarding the release that kind of has our videos embedded in there. So as you're reading through, you can watch some videos to really hone in on understanding what changes have just been made. So let's go ahead and click into the knowledge base. And as you can see, it opens up as a separate window. And in here, as Pam mentioned today, we covered AI. So you can see here, it takes us to Neos, and there are 902 articles. That's a ton to go through. So let's click that caret icon there and let's drill down. And the beauty of AI is that it's contained mostly in AI. So if you just click this top level, you'll be able to see we have 41 articles in there. So before we jump in, my preference and my suggestion is to always make sure that your sorting is set to last updated. This way you have the most recently updated information at your fingertips first. But also, if you drill down a little bit here, you'll be able to see the areas in which AI touches. So cases, chat, documents, executive summary, all the places that we mentioned today. So let's say that we want to do a quick search for documents, let's say, and we just search for enter. And if we just drill down into AI, we can see all the areas in which document is related. So document's pretty broad, but you get the idea. You can kind of narrow and hone in on all the areas. So I'm just going to clear that search just by clicking the X there. And then let's see here. So if I drill this down, the other area I did want to point your attention to, so we have AI, yes, but Pam also did mention dynamic layouts. So we have this dynamic layouts here. And if you either click or drill down, I like to do both, just so I can see the categories as well as the article titles. You can see that we have the different areas that she mentioned. So we have the dynamic layouts directory, noting those standard versus custom dynamic layouts, adding a dynamic layout into a case. So chock full of a ton of information will get you started or help you if you are lost along the way. And speaking of, if you are lost along the way and you need some help, you can always click get support right up here. And you'll fill in all of your information here. And as you're entering in the subject of the question that you have, let's say you start typing in summarize, you're starting to type it in, and you see, hey, there are articles here related to maybe potentially what your question is. So let's say I just say, okay, I'm going to continue to some are, I can't tell. There we go. Summarize. There we go. And now I notice that it's targeted as I continue to type, the article suggestion becomes more targeted. So I am choosing summarize, and now I have these options. Do I need help summarizing notes or documents? So you can click in through there. And of course, we'd love to hear from you. But if you can save yourself some time and access this information and help yourself, then by all means, we love to save you time. So we're here to help you in any way that we can. All right, Pam, I think that covers it for the knowledge base and the support portal. Any questions remaining?
I don't see any questions. Everybody has been really quiet today, so I'm hoping we covered everything. If you guys do have any questions, just let us know. If you are not a Neos Platinum member and you would like more information regarding our AI features, please contact your customer success manager, or you can email customer success at assemblysoftware.com. But if nobody has any questions, I will give everybody 12 minutes back to their day. I'm sure everybody can definitely use that. I know I'm coming back from vacation, so it's been a busy week. But if you guys need anything from us, you know how to get to us. Our academy next month will actually be about the same time. So we're going to do the last week of August. Look out for those registrations. But if not, I hope everybody has a great day, and we look forward to seeing you guys next month. Bye,
Thank you for
guys.
joining.